Hi everyone, let's talk about Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. So this is a mashup game that is, an amalgamation of Between Two Cities and the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Both games that I have really enjoyed. Between Two Cities, we tend to bring it out when, there's more people around because it plays up to 7, is it? I think this one plays up to 7 as well, so I'd imagine Between Two Cities does. And if you haven't played that, it's a similar thing where you have a certain number of tiles every round. It changes it up a bit because some tiles are doubles. You'll have a round of singles, a round of doubles, a round of singles. And your cities, the shops want to be in a straight line. The entertainment, you want different symbols. There's all sorts of different things that you are trying to do with them in a similar way to this. But you're also filling them into a grid rather than just being a bit. There's some placement rules in this, but you're trying to place them in a fixed sized grid that by the end of the game, your placement's decided for you based on what you did throughout the rest of the game. And just the concept of that, where you're constantly interacting with the people either side of you anyway, not all of the players, but the people that you care about are the ones either side of you that share the cities with you. That you are making the decision of the tiles for yourself, but then there is a lot of thought on planning for the future, on where you're going to place these things, on what you are going for in your various cities, and just the fact that you have to care about both of your cities because it's your worst score that counts. Means that you can't just devote all of your stuff to trying to get one amazing city and one just dreadful one. And the Castles of Mad King Ludwig is fairly different in that you're building these crazy castles with all of these strange rooms, funny shaped tiles, and the big thing there is a master builder every round who sets the prices for all of these tiles for all of the other players, and then gets to buy at the end with all the other players' money that they spent. I haven't done a playthrough for either of those games, but they are both fantastic. Castles of Mad King Ludwig especially, one of our favourite games just in general. It's absolutely fantastic. So when this was announced, you can imagine, really excited about it because why wouldn't you be? It combines two games that I love anyway. And I think that, I was just kind of expecting just a bit of a retheme, just Between Two Cities with Castles artwork. But I think it's so much more than that because it's not, something completely brand new. It definitely has a lot of elements from Between Two Cities in there, but I think it feels like a much different game. The gameplay itself just abstracts out, and what you're doing with the players, you are still just picking two tiles and then discussing with your castle holder friend which one, where are we going to put it, what's going to be our plan. That is the same thing, but you are not building in a regimented grid anymore. You are building, your side view of your castle. So the height and the width of the castle, and you can only build when there is a ground floor underneath. All of that is completely different. And the powers aren't just. They are they're much more interactive rather than being the same powers for everything. So the shops are always going to be get so many in a line in Between Two Cities. Here, each one can have a very different approach. The sleeping rooms are all the same, and they are the same kind of thing. The food rooms want to be adjacent to certain things. The downstairs rooms give you rewards for everything that's in the column above them. They're similar in that way, but there are a lot of little tweaks that are going on, and the symbols in the corner work really well with not only the corridors, with the royal attendants that you can get in the throne room. They're a really nice thing, and then it's got the thing that is taken from Between Two, not Between Two, taken from the Castles of Mad King Ludwig is the bonuses as well for getting a certain number of the rooms. It brings that in really nicely because the bonuses are usually brilliant, and you're pushing for 5. Not that attractive, but it still gets you a specialty room that can be really brilliant. But, getting the bonus cards come from castles as well. They translate nicely. You can draw more tiles and get to place an extra one in your castle as well. I just love how it all comes together. And you do end up with these really weird-looking castles. Like, Marty's just looked like a great big tower for the whole thing until it ended up fattening up a little bit and turning into a real castle. I really like the score sheets as well. It's a little bit involved, a little bit more time-consuming maybe than scoring a lot of other games, but I much prefer this to the the scoreboard of Between Two Cities, just a standard thing that we're going up. And I imagine that it was done because this scoring's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more involved in this. But you do, as I said in the playthrough, it may come across as a bit long in there, but you do it all at the same time. You do all of this drafting at the same time, and you will be scoring each of your castles at the same time. And then I guess there'll be one castle left over, maybe, that will have to get scored extra. But yeah, that's a really nice touch as well. The presentation of it is, you know, Stonemaier Games, you know, I've made no secret in the past, I love pretty much everything that they do, and I think that they have put out really nice looking games in the past and really nice components. You know, the real resources in Euphoria, for example, but not real resources, realistic, I should say. But in this, it's, you know, Between Two Cities was quite a small box game. This, I guess, has got more tiles, more components in it, maybe, but the beautiful game trays that it comes with, they don't necessarily, I guess if you dumped all the tiles in a box, I wouldn't have been annoyed about it. But it is pretty beautiful how all of this stuff is put together, and you know, it is all just set up for you. I guess as you're putting your game back, you put all the tiles back in the big insert, just in random orders as everyone's packing up, and then you're ready for the next game. And yeah, it's just a nice little extra touch, and the beautiful kind of linen texture on the rulebook as well. These aren't, you know, huge selling points that I'm trying to give you. It's just, I really noticed when we were unpacking this game for the first time that this feels like an extra special thing. But for me, as I said at the beginning, I love the two games to begin with. I was only expecting a kind of retheme thing when I first heard about it, but after playing it a few times now, I absolutely love it. And yeah, I think it's different from Castles anyway, and I still love the Castles of Mad King Ludwig a lot, but I feel like any time that I was playing Between Two Cities, unless I was playing with maybe inexperienced people, because Between Two Cities is simpler to explain the scoring and all of that kind of things, I would always prefer to play Between Two Castles now. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and yeah, if you're interested, I did a whole playthrough. You can go and look at that. But I've managed to work this out quite quickly now, because the camera is flashing 0 minutes left on the SD card. So this is actually kind of wrapped up quite naturally, although maybe I've been subconsciously looking at it and timing myself internally. Although I'm wasting the last few seconds I've got with you by blathering on about that, aren't I? The playthrough is there, you can watch that, make your own mind up. I do loads more playthroughs, you can subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Always like the videos, do what you like really. There are more available is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to talk about some more now. I'm going to keep filming. I'm never going to stop filming today. Bye everyone.